Hello and welcome to Mansell Raceway on the 27th of October for the penultimate round of the Two Counties Kart Club Championship. Round 5 coming up momentarily. You can see the number 6 Russell O'Neill. That's the kart that's currently leading the championship. And as you can see here, equal on points with Mike Bell, with Robin Stones and David Waldron separated by 1 behind. And Sarita Schoen and David Good separated by 1 as well, in behind them in 5th and 6th. With Toby Cook, Rob Mortimer, Ron Schoen and Kevin O'Neill running out the top 10. In the Blue Masters, O'Neill leading quite convincingly ahead of Stones and Waldron, with David Good in 4th. Ron Schoen, Rob Mortimer and Kevin O'Neill only separated by 1 point. Similar story in the Veterans, with Waldron and Stoddart Stones at the front. In the Legends, Robin Stoddart Stones leading from David Good and Ron Schoen. And in the Blue Top Weights, Rob Mortimer leading from Ron Schoen and Mike Watts as things stand. You can see the grid for today. Stuart Gray is going to be lining up on pole in the number 15 ahead of Robin Stoddart Stones. Championship leader Russell O'Neill in 3rd alongside David Good, with Sarita Schoen and David Waldron making up row 3. Behind them, Paul Alexander, Kevin O'Neill, Ron Schoen and Rob Mortimer running at the top 10. Paul Dybel starting the race from 11th in his first race this year ahead of Nigel Vickery. Novice Mike Watts ahead of Jeff Webster, with Michael Bell and Alex Fortune rounding out the grid. And as you can see there, a non-start from Fortune, and that in the front of shot, that is Jeff Webster. So he appears to have broken down on the rolling lap as things stand. So it looks like a double DNS. See Bell at the back of the grid there in the blue, having some engine troubles all day. Hopefully he can fix it in the final to take the championship fight to the final round at Clay Pigeon. See there, Stuart Gray leading the field round in 2x2 formation. They're just going to head up to Hangar Bend now. Quite a long track here at Mansell Raceway, 1200 metres. Lots of room for overtaking, nice wide circuit, so anything can still happen. Here you can see now coming out of Hangar Bend, Stuart Gray on camera left on the front row alongside Robin Stones with Russell O'Neill in behind. Gonna head down, cut through the chicane, and then we will be under starters orders. See that Kevin O'Neill leaving a bit of a gap in 8th place. Through the chicane we go, and the lights go out. Now, revs rise and away they go. And we can see down to the first turn, good start from Gray, good start from Waldron, and Waldron and Sarita Schoen coming across each other, and they've collected David Good. So that's Sarita Schoen and David Good both being dumped out in the first corner. Stuart Gray leads away from Russell O'Neill, Robin Stoddart Stones. That looks like Paul Alexander up to 4th, and everybody else in behind, basically on top of each other. David Waldron, Rob Mortimer in there as well. Mike Bell's past Mike Watson, is now trying to have a look at Nigel Vickery in the red. There's Good and Schoen, so good to see both of them getting up after the first turn accident. They'll set off after the rest of the field. Now up towards Hangar Bend for the first time in the race. That's Stuart Gray leading the way from Russell O'Neill, and O'Neill has Robin Stones all over the back of him. Paul Alexander, David Waldron, Ron Schoen now up into 6th ahead of Mortimer, and that's Bell with a problem again. So Bell looking like his championship challenge could be over here. Stuart Gray defending now into turn 1, and that's David Waldron up the inside of Paul Alexander. That's going to be a change for 4th place. There's Mike Watts in the 32. Bell running wide. David Good's going to go up the inside. Sarita Schoen as well. Problems again for Mike Bell. Second final in a row, he's struggling. And there you can see that's Nigel Vickery on the back of Kevin O'Neill. There's David Good and Sarita Schoen looking to the inside of David Good. We're going to back out of that and going up into turn 4. You can hear Bell's engine sounding very different from everybody else. There's something clearly wrong with that kart. But back up to the front, Stuart Gray leading, the gap starting to edge out a little bit to Russell O'Neill. Stoddart Stone's not giving him any room to breathe though, and that's Kevin O'Neill on the attack against Paul Dybel. Dybel in the yellow in the Alonso kart. First time he's raced this season. That's Rob Mortimer looking to the inside of Ron Schoen in turn 1. Through goes Kevin O'Neill on Paul Dybel as well. And that's Sarita Schoen looking at the inside of David Good, so 3 passes in the same corner. Look like they've all stuck. Certainly Mortimer now ahead of Ron Schoen, he's in 6th place. Kevin O'Neill ahead of Paul Dybel, who's now under pressure from Nigel Vickery in the Gillard. And then Mike Watts now has Sarita Schoen behind him with David Good close in tow. As Bell just lapping around trying to get the engine sorted. Back up to Hanger Bend again. Stuart Gray pulling out a bit of a lead now from Russell O'Neill, who still has start stones right behind him, but David Waldron's closed in on the pair of them. Paul Alexander in 5th, and a big train of karts here. There's Mike Watts, the novice, still holding off Sarita Schoen with David Good in tow. Through the chicane they go. Now back to turn 1. Ron Schoen, Kevin O'Neill, Paul Dybel, Nigel Vickery going through. That's Sarita Schoen up the inside of Mike Watts. They're going to run side by side. That's Jeff Webster there just getting up and over the fence. Unfortunately, his first race day in Formula Blue has been cut short. But there's Sarita Schoen ahead of Mike Watts. And now David Good having to pass the novice legend. Bell still just trying to get something out of that kart. But back to the pit bend, they can see Stuart Gray going into the chicane and back out of the chicane. He's almost pulling away from Russell O'Neill. The gap now at 2.3 seconds in favour of the Scotsman. O'Neill starting to pull out against David Waldron, who passed Roman Stones on that last lap. So a change for third place between the two rivals. Paul Alexander now being caught by Rob Mortimer, so everyone seeming to be buddying up in two kart battles. There's Sarita Schoen running on her own but closing in on the group ahead of her, which is Paul Dybel and Nigel Vickery. David Good as well ahead of Mike Watts now, starting to try and gap the novice. And you can see in the far in the distance, that's Kevin O'Neill attacking Ron Schoen. There's Stuart Gray starting to pull the gap off. And O'Neill makes a big mistake into the chicane. He'll be glad no one's going to be on his tail for that one. And sure enough, Russell O'Neill losing half a second on that lap for Stuart Gray, but O'Neill in the perfect place at the moment. There's Paul Alexander on the defence, and here's Kevin O'Neill going up the inside of Ron Schoen. O'Neill through into, that would be 7th place if he's made that stick. There's the number 32 Mike Watts, top novice out there once again. And that's Ron Schoen back ahead of Kevin O'Neill, so Kevin O'Neill didn't make it the move stick. Now Nigel Vickery in behind with Paul Dybel. Vickery going to be on the attack very soon, I would imagine. Sarita Schoen closing on both of them, and that's Nigel Vickery up the inside through turn 5. Vickery through into 9th place ahead of Dybel. Now we go back to the outside of the first corner. Stuart Gray once again pulling out another couple attempts on Russell O'Neill. The gap now up to 3.5 seconds. And O'Neill has Waldron and Stuart Stones in tow. There's Paul Alexander still with Rob Mortimer right behind him. And Ron Schoen defending from Kevin O'Neill. There's Vickery. There's Dybel. Now Dybel, having been passed by Nigel Vickery, has Sarita Schoen all over his bumper. Around turns 2 and 3. Schoen still ahead of O'Neill. Vickery starting to break away from Dybel now. David Good closing in. Mike Watts as well. Back to Hanger. There goes Stuart Gray once again. You can see the lead getting bigger and bigger. Russell O'Neill making a carburettor adjustment there in 2nd place. Ahead of Waldron and Stoddart Stones. Paul Alexander getting his head down to try and pull away from Rob Mortimer. And Ron Schoen with Kevin O'Neill looking. And that's Sarita Schoen pulling out alongside Paul Dybel. Looks like Dybel got the exit to cover her off. As now we look down in towards turn 1. Schoen, O'Neill, Vickery. And there's Paul Alexander coming into shot at turn 2. Rob Mortimer right behind him. Battle over two drivers with the orange helmets. And there's Ron Schoen with Kevin O'Neill all over him like a cheap suit. Sarita Schoen still can't crack Paul Dybel. He's got to hurry up because David Good's going to be with her momentarily. Now we look back at the chicane. There goes Stuart Gray. There goes Russell O'Neill. There goes Waldron and Studdart Stones, those two battling for 3rd in the championship as it stands. There goes Paul Alexander and Rob Mortimer into the chicane. Now we look, that's a great shot looking all the way down to Hanger Bend. There's a chicane in there somewhere, as you can see Dybel going into it. Now here comes Ron Schoen with a small choke on the engine, and Kevin O'Neill uses that to his advantage. Kevin O'Neill dives to the inside. So O'Neill up into 7th, and it looks like he's held it and is on the exit of the corner there as Vickery's closing in on both of them. Sarita Schoen still struggling to crack Paul Dybel. And there's Mike Watts Cup novice out there once again, doing what he needs to do, getting round, getting those signatures, and he'll be up on the yellow plates the same as everybody else before too long. Back up towards the front, looks like Stuart Gray breaking away from the next three, but then the top four clearly breaking away. And Alexander still covering off from Rob Mortimer, and that's Kevin O'Neill running very wide out of the hanger. Ron Schoen's going to have a run on him after that. Looks like 2-3 kart groups are developing now towards the back of the midfield. That's Ron Schoen defending from Nigel Vickery, all in red, the Welshman in the Gillard. And that's Sarita Schoen up the inside of Paul Dybel, down into turn 1. They're going to run side by side. On the way out of turn 1 there you can see status quo held as Kevin O'Neill's going to run wide. Ron Schoen's going to try and go around the outside. Vickery's boxed in behind. And Paul Dybel stayed ahead of Sarita Schoen, but Sarita Schoen trying to switch back. Now back to the top bend once again. Russell O'Neill starting to edge out a little bit of a gap on to David Waldron. Paul Alexander still head down on the exit of the corners. Rob Mortimer closing in though, and that's Ron Schoen back ahead of Kevin O'Neill, and Nigel Vickery's followed him through. So Vickery up a place, and that's Sarita Schoen again looking at the inside of Paul Dybel on the run down to the chicane. Dybel doing a good job in defence though, and here comes Vickery looking to the inside of Ron Schoen. Through goes Nigel Vickery, so Vickery up to 7th. I think David Good having a speculative look at Sarita Schoen there into turn 1 as well. And now Vickery going to run a little bit wide. Schoen's going to get caught up with him. Kevin O'Neill looking to the inside there. And Sarita Schoen once again trying to switch back on Paul Dybel. Paul Dybel a very tough nut to crack today it seems. Been out all year and clearly he's no rust when he's come back into it. And that's the last lap board going out to Stuart Gray. He's led from the lights to this point so far. Very good race for Stuart Gray, although Russell O'Neill started to close him in the last lap or two. Here we go up into turn 2, Stuart Gray leading, Russell O'Neill second, and then David Waldron still with Robin Stones right on his bumper. Neither of those two drivers are going to shy away from making an overtake. Paul Alexander still doing a good job to hold off Rob Mortimer as they go through turn 3 for the final time. Vickery ahead of Schoen, Kevin O'Neill still looking to try and pass Ron Schoen. And up to Hanger Bend, there goes Stuart Gray and Russell O'Neill. Looks like David Waldron's going to hold off Robin Stones for the time being. Now we wait to see who's going to be in 5th. It's still Paul Alexander. Rob Mortimer not being able to make anything happen yet. And across the line goes Stuart Gray to take the win here. His second final win in a row from Russell O'Neill. David Waldron crossing the line 3rd ahead of Robin Stones. And for 5th place, Rob Mortimer's got the run, but Paul Alexander's going to take it from Rob Mortimer, 5th and 6th. And across the line in 7th goes Nigel Vickery, all the way from 12th on the grid, ahead of Ron Schoen and Kevin O'Neill. Sarita Schoen closing them in the end, having passed Paul Dybel. Then Dybel 11th ahead of David Good. Mike Watts is going to come across the line to finish 13th. And there's Michael Bell rounding out the finishers. So all 14 drivers that took the start got to the end. Unfortunately, we lost Jeff Webster on the rolling lap. So hopefully he'll have a better time out next time at Clay Pigeon. So all these drivers are going to head back into the pit lane. And then only 2 weeks until the Clay Pigeon round. That's going to be the final round of the season, which will also be the Matthew Percy Memorial event. So a big prize on offer there for any of the Two Counties Kart Club drivers. Around the top bend, everyone just going to head down the pit lane, showing their appreciation for the marshals and camera people. As you can see here, the official results. Stuart Gray with a lights to flag win took the fastest lap en route, ahead of Russell O'Neill and Robin Stones. David Waldron was penalised 5 seconds for having a drop down front nose after that turn 1 accident. He's going to drop to 4th ahead of Paul Alexander, with Rob Mortimer 6th and Nigel Vickery 7th, coming from further back in the grid. Ron Schoen, Kevin O'Neill and Sarita Schoen running at the top 10 ahead of Paul Dybel, David Good, Mike Watts and Michael Bell, with DNSs officially for Jeff Webster and Alex Fortune, unfortunately for them. Hopefully they'll both have better luck next time. And what that does to the championship is going to be pretty interesting. So you can see the overall standings. That's going to put Russell O'Neill well into the lead of the championship, with Bell now joint on points with Stoddart Stones in 3rd. David Waldron right behind him 4th, then Sarita Schoen and David Good only 2 apart. With Rob Mortimer, Ron Schoen, Kevin O'Neill and Toby Cook rounding out the top 10 of the overall standings. There's Dave Truman, the scrutineer there, just making record of David Waldron's front bumper penalty. There's Russell O'Neill, he's all but confirmed as the champion of the Two Counties Kart Club this season. And there's Stuart Gray all the way down from Scotland to take his 2nd final win in a row. There's Paul Alexander, he's happy, that's his best finish of the season so far in 5th. In the Blue Legends standing, Robin Starkstone is going to increase his lead over David Good and Ron Schoen. Likewise in the top weight, Rob Mortimer and Ron Schoen sharing the spoils of the day. They're going to increase their lead in 1st and 2nd, with Mike Watts 3rd ahead of Duncan McLeod. And you can see Schoen, Kevin O'Neill and Nigel Vickery all having conversation after their fun race. Paul Dybel in the background in yellow and black, his first race back in this season. Hopefully he'll have enjoyed it. You can see in the Blue Masters, Russell O'Neill having a commanding lead from Robert Stark-Sounds and David Waldron, with David Good in 4th, then Rob Mortimer, Ron Schoen and Kevin O'Neill separated by 2 in behind. And in the veterans, Stark-Sounds leading from Waldron, Good, Mortimer and Schoen. And we will see you in 2 weeks from Clay Pigeon Raceway for the final round of the Two Counties Kart Club Championship.